Morning when Davis Monthan went into lockdown. We first got the call here. Keep in mind, this desk up here gets hundreds of phone calls every single day on a normal news day. Also, we're listening to hours and hours of police and fire scanners. So, take you back to 11:33 this morning. We first got the call from our sister station in Tucson, KVOA. They were asking us if we would launch Sky 12. Again, this is our breaking news desk. So when the word broke, this entire area here, so we've got Kevin here, we've got Eric here, and Abe here, they start getting on the horn. They start calling all their sources. We start calling law enforcement officials and other officials who may be able to give us some information that we can then source and put that information back, online and on the air. Because at that time, we made the call at about 11:40 to go with live coverage, what we call wall-to-wall coverage. So we were on for more than an hour with continuous coverage. Here's how we came to that decision with going on at 11:40 this morning. In our effort to be transparent to you in terms of our decision-making and what goes into covering the news and how we cover it, I want to bring in our Vice President of News, Mark Casey. And Mark, talk about your decision to go with wall-to-wall continuous coverage starting at about 11:40 this morning when we got word of Davis Monthan being locked down.
We got word that Davis Monthan was locked down. Everybody remembers the Fort Hood incident from just a year ago. We've just come off of a week of talking with people about 9/11 and the new age that we're in. And it was a pretty easy decision that we needed to move into continuous coverage at that point because Davis Monthan Air Force Base is it's an Air Force base. It's a military base. And it can be targeted by anyone, by terrorists, by civilians, by anybody. And it's an highly unusual event. Our sister station in Tucson, KVOA, said it was a credible threat, and they began to move people, so that was good enough for us.
Let's talk about this age that we're in of our viewers want unfiltered information. They're looking for Facebook posts. They're looking for tweets out there, but our number one goal is still to be factual, number one, and of course we want to be first with the information. Explain to our viewers how we balance those needs.
Well, viewers want and have access to unfiltered information. If you went on the Twitter feeds this morning and monitored what was happening, you got a lot of information. Some of it came from very credible news organizations, very professional news organizations, and some of it came from what are known as news aggregators who just grab information and tweet and retweet it. And some of it was accurate and some of it wasn't. And we were in a continuous coverage mode, so we were delivering that information, excuse me, we were delivering that information and sourcing it in real time. As I said, some of it was inaccurate. We made the decision to do that because it was a very fluid situation, and we wanted to make sure we were staying on top of the story. Anytime there's a breaking news story, in any situation, even before Twitter, there was always the risk that information that you were going to deliver was inaccurate. But if you stay on the air, if you continue to provide information, if you're transparent with your viewers and you tell them this information is coming from this source, I think that's the best you can do. And I think you have to act that way in this day and age. It's not a perfect system, but it's pretty good.
And you know what, folks, as hard as it is to filter through all those blogs and tweets and the posts on Facebook, here's what you need to know. We have established policies on how to incorporate social media with fact-based reporting. So that's an angle of the story that we want to cover now with Chad Graham. He and his team, they monitor all things social media for 12 News, for azcentral.com, and for the Arizona Republic. So, Chad, if you would you hold up that red notebook and explain to our viewers what's in it?
Well, we do have policies on how we handle social media and breaking news and all kinds of news. And, we want to be first, but we also want to be accurate. And you can imagine when a major breaking news story is happening, the sheer number of tweets and Facebook posts that happen, and we need to sift through those. And we have a social media team here at AZ Central that does just that.
Right. As you said, we want to be first, but the goal always is to be right with the information. Yes. So, as we mentioned, the timeline here, go back to 11:33 this morning, and then go to about 12:30, and we're going to zoom in. Pete, can you zoom into that computer right there? Chad, explain those graphs, if you would.
This is a program we use to track Twitter, and you can see it right around noon. It spikes, and that is this news. And so, you know, we're really constantly tracking what readers are following, what they're most interested in, what they really want to get information on. And this is just one of the tools that we use. We have 3 different producers, Jennifer Hellam, Tatiana Hensley, and Jordan Johnson, who really staff social media for us from 6 a.m. until 11 p.m. at night. Wow. 7 days a week.
If people want to get in touch with you, they can find you on Twitter.
Yes. Tweet me your questions, your comments, any social media questions you may have. My Twitter handle is ChadGraham2.
Chad, we appreciate everything that you and your team are doing. And again, they've got you covered, whether you're watching 12 News, whether you're online at azcentral.com, or you're reading the Arizona Republic.